essentially the whole idea was like, I just want to have a band that if a band we like called and said they're playing a basement of a pizza shop, like we can go plug in and just play. We don't need to worry about computers, synths, sound guys, everything that kind of came with Chain Gang. It's just going to be a fun time. So I went to high school with Marshall, and we've known each other for so many years. And during that time when Teenage Risk started, he was playing guitar for 303 because I think I introduced them because they needed a guitar player. So I might be taking credit for that. I could be wrong. If so, I'm sorry, guys. So yeah, everyone was very involved in what everyone was doing. So I just basically approached Marshall. I was like, hey man, I think it'd be really fun if we just kind of started a rock band. Like, there's already so much rock influence in Chain Gang, and especially with the Daydream Forever album. It was a very punk electronic record, but I wanted to really kind of push that and take it. So yeah, we got together and initially kind of just started writing a couple of ideas. Didn't really know what we were going to be. And then I think I had written bits and pieces of the song Slide Away originally to be on the Daydream Forever Chain Gang record. I kind of had the chord progression, I had the melody, but I was like, nothing ever happened with it. But then when I brought it to Marshall, he put his guitar, he wrote this, wrote that, and it just became this thing. And I think that was that moment that we kind of realized like, oh, we're onto something. And then we wrote like Afterglow right after. And then it was like, I think it was every session we were just writing a song. Like we would write it and finish it. Like it would just, everything was coming out. Next thing we knew, we had like a 6-song EP. And it was like, all right, let's see what happens with this. And then the rest is a long history.
Sure. Well, when bands get first together, you're always trying to figure it out. And I always feel like bands are still figuring out with those first few releases, and they kind of hammer and tool in on their sound. I think you guys obviously hit, and this is just a fan perspective, so I'm no expert, but I think you guys really hit a stride with Chrome Neon Jesus, the 2018 album.
Well, thank you.
And a lot of like what's on there, I think, is very evident. I feel like in many ways, creatively, they went on to be a different band. You have kind of continued a lot of what was beginning to be explored there with the Heavenward project. So you see a lot of kind of some of those Brit pop, the British invasion stuff from the 90s that we kind of hit on a little bit. I feel like, there's kind of some jangly guitar rock in there, some of that shoegaze leaning stuff, like the Swerve Drivers and the Rides, if you will. There's little bits of that DNA throughout that. And, I could see why it's such a cult classic for you and the boys of Teenage Risk, because I think it still holds up today. It's got a timelessness.
Thank you very much. I mean, a lot of that was, strategic. It's like we knew. So like, when we started Brist, we knew we wanted to have a lot of influence from the 90s music. But I was always the person that like, if someone's like, I love Nirvana, I'm like, next. That's like, Nirvana's a great band, whatever. But I never fell in love with them. They weren't my thing. I chose the Smashing Pumpkins. Like they were my band, for that era. If you want to talk about the megastars in the 90s. So when we initially started Teenage Risk, was very much like, we want to take a lot of influence from the Smashing Pumpkins here, a lot of influence from shoegaze. But we're talking about the time when, I'm shocked to even say this, but when shoegaze was still very underground, and I was talking about this a couple nights ago, you had to kind of flip over rocks to find a new shoegaze band. It was really, really difficult. It was a very small bubble. Now I can't stand the genre. It's overplayed. There's nothing unique about it. And I'm not dogging anyone who's doing it, but it's like, I saw this meme. It said like, you guys are really calling any guitar music shoegaze, and it's true.
Yes.
It's like, people will